All right, so this is episode 20 of Oluswole, the podcast in the budget. I'm excited to welcome our guest. He is a social media icon and a founder of one of the funniest pages on IG. Palmer, what's good?
How's it going, man?
Yeah, everything's good. For the people who don't know, Palmer, he's the founder of the Down Bad Patrol page on IG. I think it has over 150,000 followers on Instagram. And it's basically it's mainly dudes. There are a few girls, but it's mainly dudes trying to slide into DMs and trying to be, smooth, but failing to do so. And it's just the page is just hilarious. I just want to ask, why did you start it?
So originally I was on Twitter. I started back in December at the height of the pandemic. And I already ran a Twitter account where I basically just posted jokes and stuff. It wasn't really a theme or anything. I grew to 58K followers there. I always had a presence on Twitter, and I told myself, in terms of gimmick accounts and stuff, no one's really made one for people getting rejected. I feel like there's a way to create a community of people where you can make light of funny stuff, stuff like that without bordering on creepy stuff or anything. Just a community of just funny people, people getting rejected, So I came up with this idea, the term down bad. I think J. Cole at Dreamville actually came up with it, but people started using it in popular slang and whatnot. So I thought, why don't I just use that term and go with it and kind of associate it with this topic? And I mean, it blew up pretty much instantly.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm sure there's definitely a big demand for that kind of content, especially during the pandemic where everyone's at home and people are a little bit more down bad than they usually would be because they're not seeing people as often. So
oh man, yeah, I'll tell you this much. Now that everything's opening back up, I'm still getting a decent amount of submissions. We pretty much go steady, a couple hundred a day. But at the height of the pandemic, when everyone was home, I guess everybody was down bad, man. I was getting, there was a day where I probably got 1,000 submissions.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Wow. I mean, yeah. I mean, every dude has been down bad before to some degree, but it's the extent to which some people are down bad on the Instagram is just out of this world.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, the page itself, I try to keep PG. Sometimes if the post is really good, I'll post it anyway because it's oh, this one's gonna bang. But usually I try to keep it a friendly environment. I try to prevent it from turning into anything misogynistic. I try to keep it equal opportunity. I try to make it so that everyone can enjoy the page, and because of that, I guess that's part of why it's so successful, because it's just a fun community where it's not as toxic as it could have been had I not have kept it under control.
Yeah, and I definitely need to give kudos to you because, like you said, it's not misogynistic at all, and even in the bio, I believe it says no incels allowed.
Yeah,
so
that's a funny story. So I don't know if I've told you about, or told you the extent of the Twitter. The Twitter actually got to 1.1 million followers in under a month, and the Instagram was kind of just piggybacking off of that. Of course, I ended up getting suspended. Unclear as to why. Twitter's just Twitter sometimes, but yeah, it was blowing up so quickly that a lot of my submissions were turning into insults, sending me women are the worst, and I was just this is not what I want this page to be. So I was like, you know what? It'd be funny is if I just put this in the bio just to make it clear to anyone that wants to submit, it has to be funny content, because we're not going to turn into this degenerate community of bad people. I want it to be a fun community that everyone can just scroll through and laugh at,
Yeah, and you definitely did a good job of doing that. And yeah, shout out to you. Can you just go through how the DM process works? How do you get your thing on your conversation with someone on Down Bad Patrol?
So I'll start at the beginning. So at the very beginning, before I had any followers, I actually faked a few conversations, they were made up just because I had some ideas, and then those blew up. And then all I really needed was to make 2 or 3 fake texts for it to blow up. And then from then on out, I pretty much every single one of my posts is submissions. So what happens is I just at any time of day I have free time, I click on my requests, and there's thousands of them. So basically, you just screenshot a text of like you getting rejected, or maybe just a meme you saw online of someone getting rejected. And I spend the time in the day scrolling through all of them. It's a nitty gritty process, but I find the best ones. I kind of save them to a photo album so that I have like ones on deck. And
Mm.
basically, anytime you get rejected, anytime you lose a bet or whatever, if you follow the page, maybe you'll keep me in mind and be like, huh, I should submit this. So that's basically how I get the bulk of my submissions, just people turning themselves in, basically.
Mm. Yeah, routing themselves out. I
Yeah.
see. Um, See, the thing is, when people are sending screenshots of their exchanges with people, um, sometimes I'm sure some people just send them straight to you with no editing, no blurring out, no nothing. Do
Yeah.
you feel a personal sense of responsibility to protect the anonymity of the people in the text exchange, or is it a
Yeah, I
case by case
do.
thing?
I do for multiple purposes. One, because sometimes it'll be like sometimes someone will send me like a juicy piece of like drama from like their local community or something, like everyone's talking about this text. And it's like, okay, like I don't want to create problems. I blur out the names. I blur out the picture. I mean, a lot of times people ask me to, but even if they don't, I just do it anyway because, like I said, like doxing on the internet's a real thing, and it's just better if you just look at it for the content rather than looking at it and be like, oh, here's this person's at. Let's go like harass them. So I do feel a personal responsibility, especially given the fact that I'm up to 158,000 followers. Like that's a large community. That's a lot of people that could like mess with somebody if they had the handle. So yeah, I blur out profile pictures, I blur out names, and I just leave the content. I try to keep it as raw as possible without harming anybody.
Mm. I think some of the funniest down bad posts, like your captions are funny, but some of the funniest posts are when like you just leave no caption and you just
Yeah.
like put the post.
I try to say as little as I can because like the essence of the page itself is just like don't really comment, just like put it out there and let people just see it and form their own opinions.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I love how it's able to do stuff like that because I mean that's kind of why I do it every day because it's funny, you know.
Mm. It is. It's hilarious. Like one of my favorite. Honestly, I'm not saying this because you're on the podcast. It's actually one of my favorite, like meme kind of pages on the internet. Like it's so
I
funny.
appreciate that, man. No,
Yeah.
I put a lot of time into it every day. I get help from some friends. I'm the only admin of the account. I do have
Mm.
friends that help me out with the page. I have a guy that helps me like create a calendar of what content I should post, like not specific content, but like I don't know if you follow the stories, but we kind of are getting into a rhythm of every day we do like a different theme on the story. So I have a guy that helps me out with that. And I have a company that I work with actually. It's a social media startup company, a marketing company. And I worked for them before I created the account, but they were very interested in my account. So basically they kind of are helping me in the process of growing the account right now. So what they do basically is they work with me to help fund like new projects. So I don't know if you've seen, we have a TikTok as well. Um,
Mm.
and we've it's up to 110K right now. So we help we get a guy to like run that because I don't have time to do it all myself, and basically help me kind of turn down bad more from just an Instagram page into like a community, you know.
Mm. That's really smart. Like diversifying your, potential viewers is really intelligent thing to do. And I'm sure it's very easy for things to get, even the most mundane things to get viral on TikTok. So the fact that you're posting high quality content on a place like TikTok, I mean, I'm sure some videos have like crazy views.
Oh yeah, no, some of them can hit like a million. I mean, TikTok's a whole
Mm.
different animal, you know, as I'm sure you're well aware. We actually
Mm.
just found a new host for the TikTok that's going to be starting in about a week, so we're really excited about that. Obviously, I don't have time to do everything. I created the account, not the idea, but the Instagram's time consuming enough, especially given the fact that I'm in college and whatnot. So, but I'm really excited because I really think that I can turn this from like a gimmick account. It's kind of already turned into a community, I feel like, and basically I want to build on that idea of community because like all my followers are awesome. Like the feedback I get and whatnot, it's really encouraging. So
Mm. That's really cool. And yeah, I didn't know you were in college. I mean, that's pretty. It must be kind of hard to manage this social media
yeah.
page with like academics, I imagine.
Yeah. Oh, I have 1 year left, and then well, I mean, we'll see where this is. Obviously, it's not like a full-time gig, but it's definitely something I can commit more time to when I'm not in class every day.
For you, as like the down bad admin, what makes a good down bad post? Like, what's the criteria?
My ideal post is a text conversation. I'm trying to branch off from just text conversations. I don't know if you've seen that recently, but a good text conversation where it's a guy getting rejected or a girl getting rejected. And the difference is though, is you could just get rejected and that's that. But sometimes if there's a punchline, if there's something like if there's something like the girl's not saying or the guy's not saying, like if you can find humor in that, like I have one where the girl's like saying she can't hang out because she's at Chick-fil-A, but then you zoom in and you see, oh, she sent that on Sunday, so clearly she's lying. Like stuff like that. Like if there's like a little get or like a grab like within the rejection that like makes it funny, that's the perfect post in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me personally, I'm not an expert by any means, but the ones that make me laugh the hardest are just the ones that make you make that stank face, like ooh, like, you know.
I have so many reaction images that did that exact face that you're doing right now. Yeah, no, the reaction images are a big part of it too, and that's definitely a common one.
Yeah, and one thing I appreciate about the page is that you guys also kind of keep up with events that are happening in the world, and you kind of tie that into down bad related things. So it's not strictly limited to conversations. I also see people betting on sports games like the Euros and Copa America and the NBA Finals. Tell me how you guys are able to incorporate current events and sports events into the down bad page.
So at first, down bad was just screenshots of text messages of dudes getting rejected, sometimes girls. But basically, like the term down bad just means like in the dumps, like rejected, like or like sad, like I don't want to say sad, but like damn or like damn, like so basically we wanted to kind of expand it because like I said, if we want to build a community, we wanted to incorporate a lot of different elements like people like losing a big bet was a big one. So we kind of just like I sat down and brainstormed a bunch of ideas like, okay, what else can down bad mean? Down bad could be like buying a new car and getting in an accident the next day, like like putting $1,000 on the Bucks to win the finals. Oh, they're down 0-2, like stuff like that. Like it can all be down bad. So I want to expand the term to kind of mean anything, like in the dumps, like anything like that beyond just like relationships. And to piggyback off that, another big thing I'm trying to do is kind of also incorporate the term up good because down bad, up good. I kind of want to occasionally, just to lift the spirits of people, post a picture of like someone. I guess it's kind of similar to that dude's posting their W account, but like up good, down bad, like having both those terms in the lexicon of the account kind of creates like a dynamic where it's like, okay, you're not just going to scroll through and see 100 pictures of a dude getting rejected or losing his life savings. Like maybe every now and then you'll see something funny where it's like, oh like score one for the home team, like there's a W.
Yeah, I appreciate how you're trying to be a game changer and change the game through expanding the definition of down bad. Yeah, that's really respectable. And yeah, up good content would also be nice to see. Like we want to see people winning sometimes, so you gotta change things up.
Everyone's always like in the comments, they're always like, I can't take the pain anymore. It's like, should I be posting some positive stuff every now and then? Like, it's usually just in good fun, but it's an interesting concept to explore, I feel like.
For sure. One thing I see in the comment section is that so there are these top comments that get pinned, and a lot of them follow a very similar structure, which I'm sure you already know. It's like, let's say the post was about, I don't know, losing money. The top comment might be down cashingly or something like that.
Yeah. I mean? So that's a big thing. That was one of the first things I did where I saw it and I was like, this is a great trend that I can like boost to kind of like show like, you see a post, oh, you saw it was posted a minute ago, like get in while you can, maybe your comment will get pinned, because it's like some of these people are so creative with the stuff they come up with. And I know some people get annoyed by it. It's like, oh, like here come the influx of down blankly comments, but it's like, The majority, the reception of it is mostly positive. So I think it's really funny because it's kind of created this whole idea where every time I post something, everyone rushes to the comments and tries to come up with the most creative response possible. And then I usually pin the best one. So that's just a fun thing where it's like I can engage with my followers, you know?
Yeah, that's smart, and I appreciate how even though you have a big following, you don't act Hollywood. Like you respond to comments, you pin them, and that also helps to encourage. You know, like you said, it helps to encourage more people to comment on the page, which in turn helps the page grow. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone wins. Everyone's up
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I mean, I love the page. I came up with the idea and everything. So if when it's doing well, it's like I want to show appreciation to everyone that's like helping it do well because it's still pretty new. I mean, I've had the page up for about what month is it? July, like 7 months now,
Mm.
and the fact that it's already grown to this size is very awesome. And I couldn't have done it without like very engaged and like loyal fans. So of course, I want to respond to as many of them as I can. A big misconception with pages with like 160K followers is like you're not a celebrity. I mean, you're not no one's ever asked me for an autograph or a picture. Like that's not what it is. You know, you're a social media influencer. So like you're not going to spend all day. Like you can't, obviously I can't read every comment. I can't read every reply. I'm just a kid in college, but I try as much as I can to reply to people just to show that it's like, I really appreciate like your creativity in the comment that you left, or like your like incentive to like find a picture. And then your first thought is I should send this to this guy. Like the fact that people take the time to do that for me is awesome. So I try to respond and reply as much as I can, you know?
Mm. Yeah, that's pretty respectable. I've seen the logo for Down Bad. I think it's something like a gold star with Down Bad Patrol written on it. What was the
Uh-huh.
inspiration behind it?
So actually, I was kind of inspired. So before Down Bad Patrol was a thing, the big Twitter account was the Horny Police. I'm sure you've seen that. Um, and basically their whole thing was like arresting people who were too horny. That was like a big page on Twitter, and that kind of inspired the Down Bad in terms of the ad is Down Bad Patrol. So it's like I'm on patrol for like dudes who are down bad, kind of. So
Mm.
it's actually a gold badge.
That makes sense. Like one of those sheriff badges.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you know, just like patrolling the internet for like dudes who are down bad. It's like, I mean, I guess it's also similar to caught in 4K. Like, oh, you just got caught down bad. Like, you're under arrest. So, you know, it's just funny. Like, it's nothing serious. It's more just a gimmick.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, so like Down Bad Patrol is having a lot of success. In your opinion, how do you think? Like, what's the goal for the page? Like, what do you want to turn this into?
Um, Ideally, I want it to become more than just an Instagram page and rather a community where you can engage with it on pretty much every social media platform. You know, I
Mm.
want, I mean, like long term, big picture. Obviously, I just want it to keep growing. I want it to have more of an influence. I feel like it would be nice someday to post an ad every now and then because, you know, I put in so much time every day, and I've probably maybe done 2 ads ever, and I've had like 500 posts. So I want to make sure that I want the page to grow. I want to be able to spend more time on it, expand it across more platforms, create more content beyond just Instagram posts, and at the
Mm.
same time maybe get a little in return to where it's like, okay, now if there's a monetary incentive, I can focus a lot more on this and grow it even more. You know, obviously we're still in the very preliminary stages of that, but if there was a chance to where I wouldn't be wasting time doing this for not for no money, and I could be find a way to monetize it a little more, you know, like that would drive incentive to where it's like, okay, wow, I can focus on trying to expand this as much as possible. So I don't want to sound greedy when I say that. More so just like at a like respectable pace, growing it big enough to where we could host ads and stuff would definitely help me in terms of being able to allot more time in my schedule to focus on the page.
Mm. I mean, nah, it doesn't sound greedy at all. You know, you gotta secure the bag. You know, so I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, and you see some accounts with like 30K followers, 50K followers doing it. And it's like I feel like a moral obligation not to post ads because like I don't want to like clutter up people's feeds. They're already getting ads from Instagram, you know. But I feel like if the following grows enough, there could be a time where I could try to incorporate an ad where I would make it myself, so it's not annoying, but rather it's funny, and I blatantly make it obvious that it's an ad. I feel like there's
Mm.
a way to do that. There's a way to make ads to where you can cater it to your page so that it's funny and your followers just like, oh, whatever, he's chasing a bag every now and then, you know?
Mm. Yeah, because there's some other meme pages I follow, and their ads are completely unrelated to what they actually post. So.
Yeah. Like the what's it, like those balls you can like stick to your ceiling. Yeah, I see those all the time. No, ideally, if I was going to do an ad, I'd want it to be with a company, which is why the company that I actually work with, Fallen Media, is the name. I actually work there part-time as well. Since they help me with funds to help and grow the account on like TikTok and whatnot, like to pay for a host, pay for like creative process and whatnot. Like the way I see it is maybe that could lead to a window to where if I'm doing an ad, it would be with an actual company rather than like someone self-promoting their lamp that ships from like across the country. More legitimate stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Big aspirations. Yeah, I hope the page grows. I mean, that'll be great for you and great for the viewers. Like, the more people that know about it, the better, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah. I want to transition to the Oluswole Bowl. That's the part of the podcast where we ask you some off-the-cuff questions. It might be somewhat related to what we're talking about, or they might tie into what we're talking about. So I'll just hit you with them.
Yeah, let's go.
So if you feel comfortable sharing, what has been your own most down bad moment?
My most down bad moment. Let's see. So there was a time in high school, I think it was sophomore year. I was kind of a coward at the time. I was scared to talk to girls, obviously. This might have been freshman year. This girl, I texted this one girl that I had a huge crush on. And she said she was going to a local football, high school football game, not my high school, a different one. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna drive there and surprise her. You know, like this would be a big move. Like I'm a big baller if I can pull this off. So I get to the game, I get there, and then all of a sudden I freeze up. I'm like on the fence by myself, didn't bring any friends, and I see her walk by with like a group of friends, and she's like next to this one guy. And you know what? Maybe they were just friends. I don't know. But I looked at them. And you know what? I didn't even say hi to her. I just left the game, man. I just went home. I went home and sulked. I took 3 hours out of my day to try to do some big move. Saw her next to a dude, and I was like, "All right, I give up," and I went home. So that might be one of them. Aside from a few middle school rejections, I would say that was probably one of the most down bad moments I've ever been personally.
Yeah, that's definitely sounds down bad. That's like right up your page's alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, no, I've definitely been worthy of a post before in my life. I mean, it wouldn't make sense if the admin himself wasn't down bad at once or twice.
Of course, it takes one to know one, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then secondly, what were you like in high school? Were you, because I'm sure you have a good sense of humor. Like, were you like the funny guy in class, or?
I mean, in high school, I had a lot of friends. I played sports. I was a class officer. I mean, I pretty much knew everybody in my grade. I wasn't like cliquey or anything. I had a friend group, like everyone had a friend group. I'd like to think I was likable. I mean, I was very active. I was in a lot of clubs. Like I said, I was in student government and I was on the lacrosse team. So I was pretty active, you know. But my big thing in high school was I was kind of like I would always be the one to like crack jokes in class and stuff. So I guess it kind of filters into kind of how I like doing creative, like humor and writing and whatnot. So that was kind of, I mean, like people would introduce me like, oh, he's like funny. Like it's not like, oh, he's like athletic. Oh, he's smart. It was like, no, he's funny. So that was like who I was. So.
You're born for this, huh?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I'd like to think.
That's pretty cool. Do you think? What do you study in college, by the way?
So I'm a double major. I'm at the University of Virginia. I'm a double major in English and media studies, which is basically communications.
Okay. Because I was just wondering if, well, I guess it makes sense now. Because I was just wondering if like the kind of stuff you do for Down Bad Patrol and the social media management side tied in with what you're studying in college, and I think the communication side definitely has some overlap.
Yeah, that's exactly why I did it too.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So I think this marks the end of the podcast episode. Thanks, Palmer, for coming on the podcast. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Oluswole is available on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you're watching this on YouTube, socials are linked in the description. Thank you guys for listening, and peace.